Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
What up, y'all? It's Joe Budden, here to talk about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to win real money while watching football. You can get up to 100 times your money.
Prize Picks will give you $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Just download the Prize Picks app and use code SPOTIFY. That's code SPOTIFY on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play a $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Don't Blame Me. Happy Valentine's Day episode. Is this going up on Valentine's Day?
It's the day after. Because Valentine's Day is on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. I should have just looked at the calendar. Happy day after Valentine's Day.
Melissa's birthday eve.
Oh my God, yeah. Dude, any time between, because I have one of my other friends' birthday's like right around this time, like the same time, that all I know is that like I am on high alert for like just like 2 weeks of February. And I'm like, there's birthday, Valentine's Day, birthday. So shout out to all the Aquarius size. Aquarii? Love.
Is it fun to have your birthday like near Valentine's Day as a holiday?
I keep it all separate.
Okay. Because I always feel like kind of bad for people whose birthday is like the 26th of December, or like the 20, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
3 of my nieces and nephews have birthdays. No, 4 have birthdays around there, and we have to celebrate each one separately.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I should introduce all of the voices you're hearing. Hi, I'm Megan. I'm joined by my co-host, Melissa. And for our Valentine's Day special, also joined by my boyfriend, Mats.
Hello.
So if you want to watch this episode, you can see the magnificent quarantine flow he has going on. I am obsessed with it. I love it. I love it. So... yeah, I guess I'll give a spiel on what this is. This is an advice show. You call us, leave us voicemails, then we give you miraculous, fantastic, sometimes life-altering and life-changing advice.
So we've learned.
So, yes. What we lack in credentials and any sort of certification, we make up for in opinions. We have lots of them. And if you would like to leave us a voicemail for an upcoming episode, you can call us and leave the voicemail at 310-694-0976. And international listeners, you can send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. We ask that you keep your voicemail under 3 minutes long and that you write it down so you can plan it out. You can practice, see how long it is, make sure you're not missing any key information, and that you also are 18 or over, have your parents' permission. And don't forget to leave your age in the voicemail as well as your pronouns. And yeah, anything new? What's new with you, Melissa?
Nothing at all. There's nothing going on.
Okay.
What about Mott's? I mean, is this your 3rd or 4th time?
I think it's my 4th time.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe 3rd. Either one of those. So I'm an old hand.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm a little tired. It was to all your working listeners out there, definitely was a kind of a rough and long week at work. So I'm a little flat, but I'm going to try and, get some energy from the calls. I also have a song from my nephew's, one of his little toys, like stuck in my head.
Which one? Papa, I'm ready to ride. Grab the car, let's go.
We don't have the rights.
No,
I'm not even thinking it right.
The one that goes, "We're on our way,
ready for adventure." No.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, because it starts slow. It's like, da-na-na-na, we're on our way. And it's because he's in his like little play area while I'm working. So like the past, got like 60 days at this point. Like every like afternoon I get D. So that's where I'm at. I'm a little fried.
He's going to be like a future podcast listener, though, because he uses his musical toys like podcasts where he just puts them on in the background and then goes and does something else. And I was like, you're listening to it like a podcast. I'm so proud of you. It's pretty fucking cute.
Yeah.
But
he is a cutie. I wish I could hide that toy, though.
Me
you can
too. So we start all of our episodes with an update. So one of our callers who has been on another episode, we gave advice. They call us and we talk to them and we chat with them and they give us an update on what's all happening with their previous call. And we did it without you. I apologize.
That's okay. I'll just listen.
Hi, so I'm from episode 9, season 7. I was the one that had the weird gift left on my door. So it was the 3 gifts, the crystal, and then the 2 relationship books. Yeah. And so basically I told my landlord and then he was like, the CCTVs were down. And me and my brain, I like listen to you guys and then murder podcasts and like that's it. So I was like, I'm gonna get killed. I like had the same reaction that you guys did where I was like, somebody's watching me. This is weird. So kind of what happened from that is I've been trying to contact my landlord. So originally I told him the day it happened and then I didn't get an update from him for 2 days. And I was like hounding his emails and calling him nonstop and just being like, hello, what happened? And originally I had asked him not to tell any of the other tenants because there's only 8 units in my building. So I'm in one of those like old school 1920s apartments.
Mm-hmm.
So, and at the time, 2 of the units were empty. So there's only like 6 units that were being lived in at the time. And everyone else is much older than me, maybe in their 30s to 40s and are all in couples. Besides one guy who's like a director that has his girlfriend over all the time, but she doesn't live here. And then the guy that lives above me, who was in a relationship, but they broke up a while ago. So I'm like the only single one here. And I'm like the only single girl that lives here. So I initially asked to not have anything be told to the other tenants because in my initial thought was, if it's not for me, like, you know, that's fine. But I don't want to like accuse anybody else or like make anyone else feel uncomfortable. So I asked him not to say anything. And then he was like, by the way, I emailed everyone and asked them and nobody replied. So you can just throw them away. And I was like, okay, that's exactly not what I asked you to do, but all right. And so I've just been asking him if like the cameras have been updated. He hasn't said anything. And my lease isn't up until April because I moved in here right before everything shut down. So like that week, everything shut down. That's when I moved in here. So moving during the pandemic was like awful. And I moved from a studio into this 1 bedroom. So now I have so much more stuff.
Yeah.
And like moving was just like hell on earth. And I am immune compromised. So I've been looking at apartments over video calls and stuff, but I also have a dog and a cat. And so I mean, you guys know you live in LA. It's like hell on earth to find an apartment that you like, that's like affordable, where pets are allowed and like feels safe.
Yeah.
And I thought this building was safe because, I mean, there's cameras all over the place. And I was told when I moved in that they all worked and there's codes on all the doors. So how somebody like got in and put them there, like doesn't make sense to me unless it was one of my neighbors, which is even weirder. So like, I just kind of don't really like know what to do at this point. And I don't really want to spend like all the money that it takes to move during like, So, I mean, in LA, like after a year, it goes month by month. So I've been thinking,
time. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been thinking of like maybe staying here and just like waiting it out. I haven't gotten anything else. And like nothing abnormally weird has happened. Like I feel like I'm extra paranoid now. And every time somebody walks by, I mean, I'm on the ground floor. So whenever somebody walks by, I can like make eye contact with them.
Yeah.
So it's like, are people just being nosy and like looking in windows? Because when I go on walks, I do that too. Like you're just walking, you're like, oh, that's a cute apartment. So I'm just like extra paranoid. But yeah, I mean, really not much else has happened besides me trying to like fight with my landlord.
Have you thought about getting like a ring, like a camera for you outside of your door?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because this building, like everything is painted over so many times. So it's just like weird. Like,
I know.
Yeah, it's like a 1920s door. So it's like all uneven and weird. And so my dad was saying that I should get one. And I've been looking. They're just like so expensive. And I just like, so I'm going to probably order one. But it's just like I haven't done it yet because I just like, I don't know. I've worked like nonstop. Like I work almost like 7 days a week. So like I'm working right now. I took a break from work. So I'm just like busy.
Straight up though, if you give us your Venmo, I will post it in the Facebook group. People can because like that's like no, I'm not kidding. Like I'll fucking send you my like it's something that like I completely get like not wanting to move at all. And like even if like I like hope more than anything that like Melissa was right from the original call, that like it was meant for somebody else, but like peace of mind, like just peace of mind to know that like, so like, because I completely get the fact that you're like ground floor is already like, that's already has some like increased like anxieties and that stuff. But like, then just wondering every time someone walks by your door, like that has like, that there is that kind of like response and that feeling. I think it'll probably just give you some peace of mind to like, know, like you have that camera up and you like look and see, and that nobody is ever lingering or anything or looking like that. And then it's like, okay, it was probably for somebody else. And that could be it.
And they have the ring too, where you can like clip it on the door as opposed to like screwing. Cause I know that you were saying
I've seen those on TikTok.
Yeah. I think that would make sense. Have you seen any of your neighbors? Has like anyone been like, have you had like, has anyone been weirder? Like, or has it just been relatively the same?
Everyone else that lives here besides, so the guy above me, a little weird, but I don't want to like be like it's him, but like, you know,
there's a possibility that it could be him.
Do you listen to My Favorite Murder? Fuck politeness.
Yes,
fuck politeness.
Literally.
So
I mean, I don't talk to him at all. Like he's always given me like kind of weird vibes, but it's that kind of thing where it's just like, I'm like, maybe he's just like an older guy. And I just like, I don't know. Like, I don't really talk to anyone in the building because they're all like couples or like older than me. The guy in the front that like has the girlfriend, he's like a director and he's like really nice. And like him and I have had passing conversations like with his dog, but his girlfriend's over all the time. So like, I don't think it was him. The only person in my building like I think maybe it was is the guy above me, which is like weird. And I thought it was for him from his ex-girlfriend, which could have been possible, but I just don't know.
So the drawing, because there was a drawing, did it look like you or resemble you, or was it just like a stick figure?
So it's like, I mean, they were like cartoony drawings, and like, to be honest, like they just look like cartoon drawings. Like they don't really look like anybody that I know or like anyone in the building. The girl did have like dark hair, like it was drawn in dark. I was
just gonna ask that. Yeah.
Did it have bangs?
It was like curl. I mean, I have naturally curly hair, like kind of like yours, Megan, where it's like, so it was like curly hair, but I don't wear my hair curly super often, only like at home. So like it could have been, I don't know. That's the whole thing. It's just like, I just don't know. So I mean, this limbo.
I'm going to say, I would say for you, someone made you incredibly uncomfortable, which is fucked up. And it is not your responsibility to not make other people feel uncomfortable. Being like cautious and not necessarily like, because like there's nothing necessarily to like accuse this guy of, or because there's nothing to do right now. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not like if he's like was still doing something or anything like that, but like having your guard up and being like, I think it was probably this guy, and like just like
operating
and knowing
like it's
that,
him,
and exactly operating like it's him, being accused of dropping a letter off, being accused of making a girl or anyone uncomfortable is nowhere near comparable as making someone uncomfortable. It's like the same thing when people are like, oh my God, like you're going to like jump and like accuse someone of like sexual misconduct or whatever. And I was like, so you're going to defend a hypothetical person before like, no, like there is like I don't want to say victim, but the person who's been affected in this situation, like that is going to be far greater than being accused of that. So like, I think operate that he was like the one who did it. And if you feel comfortable, like the director who lives there, or if you've like had a conversation with like his girlfriend or like anyone else in your building, because it doesn't seem like your landlord, like I would tell your, like, if you don't feel comfortable telling your landlord, like, I think it was probably this dude. If you tell someone else in your building being like, hey, I just want to like give you a heads up. Like I had this weird fucking thing happen and I like am not 100% sure, but I do think it is like the guy, like I think it's the guy upstairs. And I'm not telling you to like have you do anything. I just like need to tell someone else in this building just because like I would feel really comfortable if you knew that. And just like if you see anything or anything, like please give me like a text or a call. And I'd love to like get your number if something were to happen to like have someone in the building that I can contact, because I've tried to contact the landlord and like it hasn't been timely. And just like essentially kind of like create not necessarily even like a friendship, but like now there is this weird thing with someone who, and let's again, we're operating that it's this guy, that there's this weird thing with someone in the building that like now you need someone in this building who is like a comfort and someone who you can like feel like you could reach out to. It doesn't have to be like a close, like you don't have to be close friends or anything, but someone in the building who is looking out for you and then also is operating on the same page as you with this and looking out for it. Because
no, for sure. I mean, when I first initially, like when it happened, I like told my like property manager / like landlord guy that I thought that it might have been him. And his like statement was like, oh, well, he is like kind of odd, but like he does like nice stuff like that all the time. And I'm like, but it's nice.
I think if you can get a camera and have like a comrade, an ally in the building who is kind of like also like on the lookout for if this guy does any like sort of weird shit again. And then if you are able to have that, like, you know, on video, if you get like one of those cameras and all of that stuff, it's grounds to get that guy kicked out of the apartment, which is, and who knows? And maybe he is just like, and more than likely, he's probably just like a weird dude, isn't like great at reading social cues, thought this was like a nice, sweet thing to do. You didn't respond. And then as maybe it's like, oh, okay, she's like not interested and like is never going to do anything ever again. But like, I think for your own peace of mind to like move, like to like be able to like feel comfortable and like safe in your apartment. And like, it's still like such a home. And I'm so sorry. That's like so fucking sucky. And but thank you for giving us an update and calling us to begin with. And
anytime.
And we are back. Should we get into the rest of the calls?
Let's do it.
Hey, Megan, Melissa. Big fan. So I just wanted to get your guys' advice on what I should do about asking somebody their pronouns in a workplace setting. The person I work with just got hired. They're more feminine looking, but they have a masculine name. So I don't know if they want to go by he, she, her, they, them. And I don't know if it's appropriate to ask in like a corporate setting. Just like background, I was raised very conservative, and I'm really trying very hard to have more just accepting viewpoints in general. So this is the first time I've ever had to come across a situation where I needed to ask somebody their pronouns. I just wanted to know what like the proper way of going about that would be. Do I just straight up ask, hey, what's your pronouns? Or is that like not cool in a corporate setting? That's it. Thanks, guys.
I don't know. You could just take a page out of my boss's book and call him buddy.
Champ pal. No, I mean, I think asking someone's pronouns is not an offensive thing at all. And I think the idea that like, it makes sense that you're saying that you grew up with like kind of more conservative views, because that, again, it is somewhat perceived as like a provocative or like inappropriate kind of thing when it's not. We assume people's pronouns all of the time. I think the best way to go about it is just be like, if you have introduced yourself and you already have like talked to this person and just saying, hey, I also never realized that I shared my pronouns with you. Like my pronouns are she, her. What are your pronouns? And that's the way to do it point blank. Is offering yours first to show, hey, this is like, I'm offering this first. Would love to know what yours are as well. And then from there, like, if that's not a conversation that they've had with other coworkers, I think if any other coworker who's referring to them by wrong pronouns, be like, hey, I had a conversation with them. Their pronouns are actually this. From every person I've talked to who is not like cis and who has had these conversations with people, it's always been like, oh my God, I feel so comfortable, and like, it feels fucking great when you ask me. Like, thank you. Like it's a great feeling. It's not necessarily awful, but also I'm not a part of that community, so I can't like speak as a whole for it at all. But yeah, and I think in general, Melissa and we've had so many conversations about this, that like my go-to, if I look in someone's bio, if it's on social media first, and then usually I'm referring people as they, them, because I don't know. And like, because someone is like more female or male presenting, has like nothing to do with their pronouns. And so in general, take that conversation and start that conversation with, here am I, what are yours? And then moving forward, using not using gendered pronouns for people unless you know their pronouns.
One thing you can also do is, maybe if you don't know and making them feel comfortable, is like in your email signature, put yours there too. And that can inspire everyone else that works with you to also do the same thing.
That's a great call. And like maybe even talking to HR, being like, hey, I think it'd be a great thing if we implemented company-wide that we all add our pronouns to our email signature. If we can do that, because then moving forward, new hires too, and just making sure that everybody feels comfortable and is able to not only be themselves, but also have other people recognize, like not misgender them and recognize them for who they are. So, but I mean, great on you for calling. Also, I'm not like saying this to be an asshole, like love that you called in for this, but there are like, this is a conversation for like a lot of like cis hetero people that is, I don't want to say confusing, but is like, it's very new. And it's something that doesn't necessarily, like, if you're also surrounded by a lot of cis hetero people, not something you come across a lot. But there are so many wonderful, like, people who've written so many great articles and all that stuff, like online. Like, there is so much, even like Reddit. Like, I was like, because there was something like grammatically I'm not great at grammar. And grammatically, I was trying to make sure I was using the right non-binary pronoun for the grammar that I was using, and someone had corrected me. And then like I found this whole thread on Reddit about all of this stuff. And people are very, there are lots of people who are like, really want to educate people and like are with all of that kind of stuff. And it's also great, especially if the person who you work with isn't necessarily wanting to have those long conversations and educate people on that. There are people who do that, and to check online.
Reddit's a great place.
We love Reddit.
Mostly for the stonks, though.
Love a good stonk.
I also love trolling people in a good way.
I love Bachelor Reddit.
I wish I had a more like personal anecdote to provide, but I think because I don't, that kind of goes to show you that it's not really something that people consider in a lot of workplaces, even when they should. So I think like Melissa's suggestion about the email signatures, or Megan's suggestion about like, bringing it up in a HR meeting, or if I don't know if your company, I've been in a lot of companies where they kind of have these like, like task force meetings or whatever, or like people,
Space Force.
Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. Where people like come from like across departments to like try and solve problems and things like that. And that sounds like a good thing that you could bring up in one of those, if those exist at your company. If they don't, there's a good way to like do something positive at your company.
Hi, Megan and Melissa. So I am 19 years old from the UK. I'm currently in my second year of university. And for a bit of background, I am a Pisces, as is very obvious in my dilemma. I'm quite emotional. So when I started university back in September 2019, I met this guy who is 4 years older than me, and he was in his final year. We went on a few dates and got along very well, but he said very early on that he didn't want anything serious and basically wanted exclusive friends with benefits, which was understandable as he's graduating that year and didn't want any kind of ties. But this really freaked me out, as I've never been in a relationship before, never dated anyone before or had sex. So I just had a bit of time to think and to know if that is what I wanted. But what followed was months and months and months of back and forth, on and off, a lot of tears, and mainly me being overdramatic. I never did sleep with him, as I knew it would make the situation complicated. But we did spend a lot of time with each other and stayed at each other's quite a bit. But he never pressured me and always made me feel safe and comfortable. Anyway, with COVID and everything, uni got cut short and I ended up going home in March time for lockdown. But we never spoke or messaged kind of after that because things fizzled out in February. Flash forward to December 2020 and he graduated and has a job and is living about 20 minutes from my stepfamily, who I visit and go and stay with regularly. He messaged me to see if I would be around over Christmas. But we never met up because of COVID restrictions and I was spending time with my family. But we did end up messaging quite a bit for a few weeks, which brought up a lot of old feelings for me. And I realised that I really did have feelings for him and I never got over him over all this time. We had a very long phone call the other night in which I just word vomited to him about how I felt. We just reassessed the situation and came to the conclusion that we both still want very different things, but that if we did change our minds, we're always there. Now I still can't stop thinking about it, even though we're kind of got closure and all that. I don't know whether to risk just going for casual and see if that would help or if it would make things worse or just try moving on. But he's still on my mind and I don't know what to do about it. So any advice or insight would be great. Thank you.
See, this is a lot harder now because the thing I would say you should do is harder to do in like our current reality because everyone's movements are restricted and you know, your social life is, for a lot of people, their social life has essentially been entirely like moved online. So yeah, like normally what I would say is like, and I think I've said, I may have like said something similar to this, like on the last time I was on, which is sort of like in my opinion, it's not good to kind of like hang on to like university relationships or like a relationship with someone that you had who may be older than you and has graduated, because even that like short span of time, like your lifestyle changes so dramatically that I kind of think I don't want to say you're wasting your time, but you know, you're kind of like shutting yourself off from, you know, other experiences that you could have while you're still at school, or if like you're the one that's graduated. But you know, the best way to get over that, in my opinion, is usually like going out and meeting new people, and you can't go out and meet new people right now. So this one's a little trickier than it would have been, you know, like a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm. I just need to say the accent paired with I want to watch this rom-com. Like, it just feels like your accent is beautiful. I could listen to you read audiobooks forever. But I mean, I think the thing is that sucks.
There's something cool. I just want to...
Uni? Oh.
That's what I was going to say, as opposed to college.
College? You want to go to college? Like, it's just so, like, what a beautiful accent. But the whole thing is that, like, you are in the process of getting over him. Then he came back into your life and now you have to start all over again. And I think like a part of it is just managing your expectations, where you kind of have to treat this like, regardless of like the caveat, like I think it's great that he's been very communicative and was like, hey, I am not like looking for, like he did not looking for a relationship, like X, Y, and Z, all of that kind of stuff. just because someone says any of those things doesn't, and like we hear them and we agree with them, doesn't necessarily mean that we stop ourselves from like falling for them or really liking them. And so I think that like you need to treat this like your ex got back into town and now you're starting from scratch of like getting back over him in that. And so like, I do not think the solution is being casual with him, because what he can give you is not what you want. And it's not going to, you're not going to suddenly then be casual and be like, oh, okay, now I'm great with this. Like my feelings are all gone. Like this is easy. So I say, as we usually do, cut him off completely. And then while you can't hang out with other people in person, get your ass on all of the dating apps and just talk to people. Like fill your like text with that, like message and like all of that kind of stuff, if that's a good distraction for you. Because I think, especially because you have never really had a relationship before, and this was all very like, it becomes, this is the only thing you have to compare it to. And so you just need to have those, when you miss talking to like a guy that you like, have someone that you meet through a dating app that you can message that you like, or something like that, where it can fill that kind of thing. Because you, otherwise you're going to, when you miss him versus missing those feelings, and you need to take away, not realize, but like once you have more experiences with other people and just talking to other people, those feelings don't become specific to that person, which was something that I had to deal with after my first boyfriend. I was like, oh my God, I miss you. And then finally I was like, no, I just like miss being in a relationship and dating, but like you're the only person who I had that with. So therefore I missed you.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. The reason why you're still hung up on him is because he's the only guy that you've really spent time with. And you guys, even though he said he didn't want a relationship, you were essentially dating. You were staying the night over at his place. And then also being in isolation away from people that could potentially be who you're dating. It also hampers with that. So you've got to cut him off completely, because you're not going to get over him as long as you're still talking to him. And I'm sure like him being 20 minutes away is hard, but I think the best thing for you is to start talking to other people.
Yeah, this is like a good, like your situation is like a good segue into like a very good like piece of general dating advice, which is like, as Megan pointed out, it is good that he was pretty upfront about what he wanted. So the piece of advice would be like, take people who you may be interested in or at their word, which is he's kind of told you twice that he doesn't really feel the same way about you. And that's better than like what, you know, the alternative might have been, which is like people who, which it kind of sounds like he's still kind of doing, people who just kind of like string you along and just kind of like figure out, you know, like what to do to like keep you interested, engaged, whether for their own like self-edification or whatever reason they're doing that. But like that really, I think that really like applies in this case based on what you, the caller, said, which is like towards like the end of your call, and it's like, and we both kind of agreed that like, you know, if we're both like still around and it happens, it can happen. That's like him saying very exactly. That's like him very clearly saying to you that,
I'd like to fuck you later.
That you are like an alternative or a failsafe or like I don't want to sound harsh, but like he has like,
if he wanted to date you, he would. Yeah,
and he's given you the opportunity to like take him at his word.
Here's the thing that
I would do that.
To add on to that, the PSA is take people for what they're saying, not necessarily their actions in this. Like that's what like and also run far away anytime anyone uses the term exclusive friends with benefits, because that makes absolutely no sense. Like, I don't want to date you, but I want to fuck you, but you can't fuck anyone else. And like, what? No, like that's just absolute bullshit. But no, there's times where you're like, you have to take people for what they're saying, because like it's the same thing. Like I have so many friends who've been through this where it's like, oh, well, I mean, they said they didn't want anything serious, but like we were hanging out every day. And I was like, they don't want anything serious. It's like, but they were doing it. And I'm like, they don't want anything serious. They told you that. And just because their actions don't necessarily match what you expect the actions of that statement to be, doesn't change that statement and how they feel. they're just acting in this way that they're like, well, I gave you that blanket umbrella term. Like, I don't want anything serious, even though, like, regardless of any of that stuff, like it's a very hard lesson that I think we learn a lot is like, we like to make things a lot more nuanced than they are, or, you know, that, well, you know, but this and this and this. It's like, if they wanted to be serious, they would. And like, that's something that people say. And I like, you say like, I'm looking for a relationship. Like, it's not something that is never spoken about. And so then like all relationships happen when people are just looking for something casual and it ends up being more serious. Like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not it.
Most people who date are like at one point or another in your position. So like, this is your chance to like, yeah, really like take that kind of lesson to heart, which is, you know, take someone at their word. When
someone shows you who they are, believe them.
Is this Maya Angelou.
Is this a reality show confessional?
A what?
That is a Maya Angelou quote.
Yeah.
It's a great quote.
I'm sorry. If anyone did that on a reality show.
But her face and her voice, like
yeah,
as she
that's
delivered
true.
it.
Well, they would have paraphrased it. If someone shows you who they are, they showed you who you are. Like, you like, girl, like, you gotta like, just like look and see and like know and believe.
Meanwhile, the other islanders discussing.
I know. Once COVID's done, I think you should go on Love Island.
Yeah, there you go. That's like a surefire way to.
Yeah.
And then we can watch you and be like, oh,
we knew her back when she took our advice.
She took our advice.
Bitch, get it, girl.
She took our advice and now she's on her way to a lucrative entertainment career.
We are going to take a quick break, everyone, and we will be right back.
We're on our way.
Ready for a adventure. We are back from our break, and it's time to get into the rest of the calls.
Hi, guys. I'll get right into it. I'm 23, I'm a Libra. I graduated in 2019 and I work full-time from home. My boyfriend does too. We have been living together and he's honestly the best person I've ever met and I love him to pieces. My issue is that I was in an extremely toxic relationship from the start of high school till the end of uni. When I finally broke up with him after 6 years, because he treated me like I was his mother and would not allow me to do things or have friends, and he considered me imperfect because I wasn't a virgin when he met me, and of course over the course of 6.5 years actually. I felt miserable and I would cry so often because of all the shit that he was putting me through. Fast forward to when we broke up, I met my current boyfriend, got together with him 2 months later. Quarantine started, unfortunately. After a few months of being super consumed by love and amazement of how truly good love can be, we settled down a bit and I started having time to think as you do in quarantine, isolated at home for a year, and I slowly started crying again, but this time it wasn't so often and I can never tell why I'm actually crying. It's not like I have a specific reason or anything, and yeah. He wants me to tell him when I feel like I want to cry so he can comfort me, and he usually does actually, or better yet, he talks to me and makes me laugh and I don't even cry anymore. But it still happens sometimes, and every time he's so worried and concerned, and of course I would be too if he were the one crying in my arms. It would break my heart a bit, and I'm beginning to become afraid of telling him anymore, and would rather do it alone in the bedroom for a bit to avoid concerning him because I feel completely fine after. I have started therapy today actually, but I wanted to get your guys' opinion on whether or not I should keep telling him or not. I love him so much and it hurts me to see him worried about this over and over again. Every single time I feel like I have to cry again. Even though every single time after I finish, I feel completely fine. Thank you guys and hope you're having an as easy as it can be quarantine.
So many good accents.
I was just going to say that.
I mean, you know, the first one, you have an amazing accent. I just want to say that.
Settle down.
Well, you know, it's just like I'm a little jealous because I have this like weird, stupid, like California, Colorado, like hybrid, like, hey, dude.
He did abbreviate on our grocery list. He abbreviated broccoli to Brock, and I was like, I'm unwell. Great that you're starting therapy, because I think like getting down to the bottom of, because like people use crying for various things. Like I have friends who like, it's just kind of a release of emotions that's like they kind of need to cry at the end of like every week. It's like built up frustration.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
And like just anything. And it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's just that feels good. And I'm like, maybe it's like an orgasm. Like you just got to cry at the end of the week and it's like a release and you feel fine afterwards. There doesn't necessarily need to be like something specifically like wrong or something that you're upset about. It just can be like how you process and deal with your emotions. And again, like an orgasm or like going on a run or something, you feel a lot better afterwards. And that might not be how he processes. And so for him, it's like if he's crying, it's like a really huge deal or something like that. And I would say, I don't think you need to. I think you like communicate, talk to your therapist and find out like if that's just like kind of the person that you are, and then communicate that with him. And so then it's like, and here, like, I don't want you to have to like worry about me or anything like that. And if his like worry and trying to comfort you and like make you feel better and all of that kind of stuff, if that like is getting in the way of that like cathartic emotional release for you, and then it becomes like, oh, now I can't really do that anymore because I have to worry about how he's feeling. And therefore you're not like honoring your own emotions, which is the whole reason why you're crying, is just like get your feelings out. Then I think you like let him know that that's like, and maybe you cry in the shower and that's something that you can like, that's your time, but it does just depend on what the origin or like what the root cause of that is, because we all have different ways to like deal with our emotions. And it's not like it's a healthy way. It's not an unhealthy way to deal with emotions at all. But if it is how you deal with emotions, then that needs to be something that you figure out. And so then you can communicate it to him so he doesn't have to worry. And then it doesn't mean that you have to like not do this anymore or like hide or like any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it seems like he's just somebody that tries to fix things instead of dealing with what's actually happening.
Might be a Capricorn.
And so maybe letting him know that, sometimes I just cry. That's what I do. And I don't need you around to try to be there to fix the situation, because maybe there might not just be something that needs to be fixed. That's not for us to say, and you're going to therapy to figure things out. But like, sometimes you just might need to cry, and letting him know that like, that's my me time. I'm going to cry, and you don't have to do anything. And I don't want you to feel bad about like trying to fix me, because it just might not be anything that's wrong.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel called out?
No, I mean,
I don't really cry.
I don't think
you're a fixer.
Like, so I can kind of see where your boyfriend may be coming from, and that doesn't mean he's it's like a bad thing, but I think like one thing that I've learned is like sometimes sort of that like, you're like coming in, you're like, all right, like what's going on? Like, what can we do?
Game plan, break it down.
Like sometimes that can make the other person on the receiving end kind of really get in their own head in a non-productive way about what's going on, and they're like, oh, like, well, I don't know what's wrong. So maybe like there's something wrong with me because like I just don't feel good. And like there's nothing like, there's no like causal effects. It's not like, oh, I like hit my knee really hard and I'm crying. It's like, yeah, I think like what Megan said is absolutely right. Like you just have to let him know that, you know, sometimes this is just a cathartic exercise for you. And sometimes it's hard to articulate why you're feeling that way in that particular moment. But the solution, the temporary solution is having a good cry. And if that's happening, there's no need for him to like step in and be like, hey, why are you feeling that way? Is it quarantine stress, or like everyone in the world is stressed out right now. So, you know, having like a cathartic cry without like any deeper underlying direct meaning is good. And yeah, you just have to tell him that. And if he's anything like me, you'll probably have to remind him a few times. So don't get annoyed that you have to remind him a few times. Just, be direct with him about that.
I think if I stubbed my toe and was crying, Mops would you would come up with you would write a whole football game plan on a whiteboard with how we solve this.
No game plan. No game plan necessary. Just rub some dirt on it.
What? Fucking can't. Should we go on to the next?
Hey, Don't Blame Me podcast. I guess I'll just get right into it. There's this girl that I like, and she just got out of a 9-month relationship. And I know you guys might rip me to shreds because I'm so young. And obviously you shouldn't date somebody that just got out of a relationship, because it never ends well, because there's baggage from that relationship. And it's never really good to get back into a relationship super quick. But I like this girl. We worked together for a year at the same workplace. And she's also one of the reasons I left, because it ended badly. But we have so many things in common, and I really like her. And we go to the same gym and we work out together. And so, yeah, I don't really know what to do. But also, to preface this, I've never really had a girlfriend before. And it's not like I've never tried or anything. It's just I've never done anything sexually or anything in that respect. And so I'm a little nervous if because we hang out often, but if we hang out and it gets down to it, I've never done anything. The first time I cuddled with a girl was 4 months ago, and I'm 18 years old. So I just want to have an interesting perspective. And if you could have Leo Howard on the podcast again, that would be awesome. He's one of my...
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a co-founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. During her journey, Isla meets new friends, including King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table, and learns valuable life lessons with every quest, sword fight, and dragon ride. Positive and uplifting stories remind us all about the importance of kindness, friendship, honesty, and positivity. Join me and an all-star cast of actors, including Liam Neeson, Emily Blunt, Kristen Bell, Chris Hemsworth, among many others, in welcoming the Search for the Silver Lining podcast to the Go Kid Go network by listening today. Look for the Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Favorite people, and I know he's one of your favorite people, Megan. But anybody's input would be amazing, and it would just brighten my day just to know that either you guys rip me to shreds on it, or it's good, helpful advice. I guess more details would be that, yeah, she did get out of a 9-month relationship, and it ended badly, but we kind of patched things up. And yeah, so that's pretty much it so far. I guess I'm just going to wait it out and just hear your guys' responses. So thank you.
My guy.
I'm sorry.
Another great accent, by the way.
I'm so happy that you put the Leo Howard part in, because I'm hearing you're dating a girl, the accent, all of it. I'm you are not our target demo, or really what are...
Smart men should be listening to this,
without a doubt. But please let us know how you found the pod. Is it from Freakish? Like, did you find it through like being a fan of Leo? I'm so curious.
What if it's through her?
Oh my God. If it's through her,
what if it's like
that is the smartest fucking
like
move.
A double game, right?
A girl that you likes this podcast, and so you call in, she might hear it, like it's gonna be a whole, oh my God.
Well,
I love that you're here.
Me too. Thank you. Like, this makes me so happy. Like, we love normalizing, like, love this. Like, we love to hear, we rarely hear from
straight guys.
Well, I mean, not necessarily like he's dating, or he's not necessarily straight if he's just dating like a girl, but like we rarely hear from like men who call in who are dating women and like asking about women, like regardless of like straight, bi, like anything. We like never have any dudes really call in about dating girls. So this is just wild, and I like love you.
This is a unique, like, I think you guys are well positioned to give him some advice. I feel
and
like.
you're no Leo Howard, but you do have some like throwback Leo Howard hair right now. Maybe if you squint your eyes. Actually, if you morph our faces together and squint your eyes, it will be him.
Leo, oh no. Very sad baby. Leo Howard's one of my favorite people too.
Yeah.
Man. So there's one thing you said that I wish I could call you and ask about, because I'm not sure I understood entirely, is when you said you guys worked together and she was the reason you left, but it ended badly. I kind of feel like that was like an important detail that was missed a little bit. Like, did it just end badly? Like, you like walked into your boss's office and pulled a half baked and was just like, fuck you.
Oh no, I think
You're
it meant
cool.
that they like, I wonder if it was, she was in a relationship and then you worked together and then you had like told her how there was something happened with you.
That was the other thing I was
because then he repeated it again at the end that things are better now.
Yeah. I mean,
so if we're operating from like that assumption.
So if we're operating from that assumption, the thing that I would say is there's a high probability that how you feel for her is much greater than how she feels for you, because she had a boyfriend and now and you had been into her and her boyfriend have broken up. You're still into her. So like your feelings might be farther progressed and just farther along than hers are for you. And while that's not necessarily like a bad thing at all, and like I think a lot of relationships start off with like one person being more interested than the other person, it's just a matter of figuring out if you're going to be able to meet each other's expectations. Like if you are really into her, you need to be like honest with yourself and honest with her with like how much you like her and like what you're looking for. Because if it's like for her, if she's like, I like you, but like, I like, I'm new. I want to be saying, I like kind of want to have fun, do my own thing, blah, blah, blah. It's not for you. I wouldn't recommend accepting whatever she can give you because you've been pining for like her for a while, and that that might be like a big disappointment. But I also think we're not going to rip you to shreds because you're young. I think if anything, like because you're young, like fuck it, like as long as you're being safe, COVID permitting, and I hope the girl that you cuddled with or whoever you cuddled with, you were tested beforehand. Because the accent makes me stress that you are in a state that is not being up to like not on top of fucking protocols, which to be fair, neither is California. Because you're young, I think you can have really great loves when you're young, but you can also like, you move really fucking fast and we get over people and like X, Y, and Z and all of that stuff. And like, I think this whole thing of when I say like, take your time, really like let relationships like have these times to get over. Like I'm more speaking about relationships when you're like into your 20s that are more intense just by nature, that I think like when you're younger, I know for me, like I could get over someone so much quicker. And like, it wasn't necessarily a rebound. It was just like our relationship was never that deep, like weighted or deep. Yeah. And that has nothing to do, like, there's nothing wrong with that. And doesn't mean that your relationship with her eventually would not be like deep or anything like that. It's just, age-wise, you can only like love someone or like someone as much as like you can at that age. And like we're always going to be like growing and changing and being able to like be in like heavier, deeper relationships just because we know ourselves more and like we are able to do all of that. So I would say because you're young, I would also just kind of say fuck it. And I've also really romanticized this whole story in my head that she listens to the podcast. So I am like on your fucking team. And I'm like, I ship it. And you love Neo. So like, this is just like, you've won me over.
Yeah. If it's coming from the assumption that we have that she already knows how you feel, then I think you should just hang back and wait. Because you already put everything out on the table. And now maybe she needs time to get over whatever the guy who she was with before. But I mean, you guys are still like working out together. So you're still around each other. Hope it's COVID safe. But
do you think the girl he cuddled with and the girl he's pining after are the same girl?
No.
No.
Because
I think
he's a fan of Leah Howard. I think he's you know.
What's up with the girl you cuddled with?
Well,
yeah,
that is a great question.
Yeah, I feel like we always come back to the same advice when people younger than us call in, which is like, you're really young, you have a lot of life to live. Like, if the girl that you're pining for, the girl that you're really into, is sort of not really in a place right now to entertain a new relationship, or maybe it, as Megan said, doesn't feel the same way that you do, there are other people out there that might appreciate, like, as Megan said, kind of like your desire to like be with one person, be with someone special.
Call that cuddle
like,
cutie back.
Yeah.
Question though, what do you think? Because when you said that you don't think he needs to say anything to her again, that she probably remembers. What do you think about one time just like checking? They broke, like her and her ex have like broken up, and just being like, because I am torn on the side, because as
you're saying, like, go all in.
No. Because as a girl, like I wouldn't usually forget if someone had like liked me, and like I would know and operate on that. But then there's also sometimes where, like, especially if I was younger and I did like someone and then I didn't hear anything, I would wonder afterwards. So I wonder, what do you think if he said, like, they've broken up, it's like one last time, just be like, hey, just like checking in on you, I heard you broke up, like, and not saying like I'm still into you, but like, let me know if you like ever want to talk, like I'm here for you, and extending that in like a, she'll know it's in those feelings kind of way.
No, because they obviously had like a fight or something, and they're still seeing each other now. Like she's probably well aware. She's probably the one that told him.
Or she is a totally clueless person.
You're right. No. If they're still hanging out, she knows. And so then,
and they had like patched things up. Like I think that if they talk through things, because I would have had like such a big blowout with somebody and then they quit working with me. They obviously talked through whatever happened.
I think like what I would do if I were you, I think you have two. I think exactly like you said, just like operate on that she knows, and don't say anything. Like, don't be like, ask her out. Don't be pushy. Like, just like have her like run her course of like this post breakup and like all of that kind of stuff. And then I think like if a certain amount of time goes by, or like a year or something, or like 6 months, like if there goes a point where if you need her to like explicitly say like, I really like you as a friend, but I'm not interested in you like that. If you need that to get over that, you can like I wouldn't put your feelings on her and say, hey, I really like you. I would just straight up ask, like, hey, I like love you so much as a friend. Like, you're so great. Like, I really love hanging out with you. And would never change our relationship and like how we hang out, like whatever your answer is. But you obviously know that I have had feelings for you. And I just need the closure to like know that like, if you're not ever, like, if you're just not interested, so like I can just like move on and like we can stay being friends. If you need that, I would do that, but really make sure that you're not putting your feelings on her or making her, not that, like, that you're just explicitly asking in those situations. It's always really great to kind of offer the example of just say, if you don't like, say the words that might be hard for her to say, so she can say like, yeah, as opposed to being like, I don't like you and I'm never going to like you. Like, if you can just let me know if this is just like not in the cards, you're not interested, that would be like helpful for me.
Yeah. And I also would examine yourself and see if you're friends with her because you think it's going to lead somewhere, or are you just being friends, or you're just like happy with being friends with her. Because if you're only friends with her because you think it's going to lead somewhere, you might as well cut your losses now, because you're just going to fall even harder.
Yeah, and you should, because that's also not fair to her, because she thinks you're friends. So if you right now, that's such a good point. If you right now are friends with her because you want to date her, then you need to tell her, like, hey, I still have feelings for you, and like I need to like take a step back, and then take a step back. And then if she wants to date you, then she'll date you. But you can't, being friends with someone with that expectation or that hope then also just like leaves you both disappointed, because neither of you are getting the relationship that you thought you were getting out of it. Please slide into our DMs and tell us how you found the podcast. And please get all of your friends who are also like, any sort of like men dating women. Like, please just like, I would fucking kill to have an audience like that.
Hey, bros, what are you guys doing? Oh, we're listening to Don't Blame Me. Oh, sick. I'm going to slide in with that.
I'm going to eat pussy on that
Sick.
show.
I'm going to slide in with you guys. Bros.
Maybe we have to do an entire episode on like eating fucking pussy, and then we'll get them.
That's
to be fair, we won't. I don't even know if we'll get like the really nice, sensitive,
and then
guys,
a lot of gay women will be like,
but I was like, but to be fair, we should probably have a gay woman on to like.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I don't know how. I know what I
don't
enjoy.
Know how. I could tell you how to enjoy it. I could tell you how to give instructions, but like we should get
Don't
him.
blame me for giving you the life advice you really want.
Wow, see, this is why we should do extra episodes. We should like literally have an entire like episode. Oh, it's a good call.
Hi, Megan and special guest. I am 20 years old and I'm calling for relationship advice. So I currently have been living with my boyfriend. We were together for a couple months, about like a year ago. And then it was long distance at the time, and I was still needing to move home from college, which I already knew I was going to move home. I moved home. A couple months later, we tried being together again, because really the only reason we broke up was because of distance. And we got back together, and then a few months later, I started staying with him at his apartment, so I currently still live with him. Everything was really good, and then for about the past month, he started to become really distant and just way less physically affectionate. Like, there would be days where we wouldn't even kiss, and that just really bothered me. Like, I would go to bed at night and notice, like, oh, we didn't kiss, or we weren't physically affectionate at all. And I don't want that to sound needy, but I mean, like, no physical affection. So there'd be times when we'd like go to bed and I'd be like, oh, like we didn't even kiss today, or like whatever. And he would just kind of like laugh and act like he didn't care, which would hurt my feelings. So I would kind of just like go to sleep and let it go. Or sometimes I would bring it up. Well, one time when I brought it up, this was like probably like 2-3 weeks ago now. It was right around our 7 months. We've been together for a little less than 8 months now when we got back together. He told me that he didn't feel like he was in love with me, and he feels like when we've been together for about 7 months, he should feel like he's in love with me. We've never said I love you, by the way. He said that he thinks he should feel like he's in love with me, but he doesn't feel that way. And then he also told me he's been thinking about a job offer he got last year and turned down because it's 2.5 hours away. So he'd be hours away from family because no one lives in that area. And we would have to figure out if I would go with him or not. And I really wouldn't want to go out there. But I also feel that if I didn't, we would break up. So I'm not necessarily looking for advice on the job offer, because he hasn't even looked for places to live out there. Like, it's not like he's taking the job. But I just kind of want advice on how to go about this. It's been a couple weeks. The past week has been good. But I just still feel uneasy about the things that he said. So just let me know your thoughts.
Sounds like you need to break up with him.
Break up with him before he breaks up with you.
I think he's mentally already broken up with you.
He's going to break up with you. Like, I say this out of love. Like, he is planting the seeds, and he is doing the thing that guys do usually, where they plant the seeds in hopes that you will do it for them. And take those seeds, be like, I see your seeds, let me water those seeds, and then we rip them out of the fucking I got you. Peace. Like, this is...
Yeah, it's weird that he brought up the job offer. It almost sounds like it sounds like he was implying that like if some sort of like similar event came along in his life, like he would use that as like an excuse to break up with you. Although I will say like 2.5 hours, like it's not much.
Long.
I mean, but you guys have been dating for, did she say how long they were dating before they broke up? It wasn't like, but like 7, you're living together.
So did they date long distance and then move in together right away? Like when they weren't long distance anymore? Because that's a bad idea. I'm just going to throw that out
It
there.
is. It's actually a very bad idea.
Like you should be in the same like city or general place for a little while, not living together. Like if you're like kind of cycling off like long distance.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
It just puts too much pressure on.
I feel like they probably just like moved in together because of COVID.
I think so too. And this is like,
true.
This is what happens for like lots of people. And I think that you are both just on very different pages for, I think for you might have felt like this moving in step, like your relationship is more serious because you live together like emotionally. And I think for him, it was probably more convenience, and he's treating this like as if someone who he has been dating for 7 months and isn't sure if he's that into. But it's hard because your life that you're living with him is that of someone who has been dating for a lot longer and who are in love and all of that stuff. And it sucks. But the whole like I feel like I should love you, but I don't thing. It's not, you need to get out. Like you need to get out because he's like, again, I say this with love, he's going to break up with you. But it doesn't seem like he is going to be upfront about that. And the issue with when people start doing this, like I said, when people start planting the seeds, similar to the update call we had last time, it gets to a point where people just start hurting your feelings and people just start saying things that make you hate them and make you resent them and make you like, so you have to break up with them. And I would save yourself the inevitable hurt that's going to come from like the more things that he's going to do or say that are going to like hurt you and like make you feel like shit to try and get you to break up with him, and just be like, I don't think we want the same things. We're not on the same page. And like, that's okay. And this is going to be done, because I don't think there's also anything wrong with being in a relationship and not being in love by 7 months. I don't think there's like a timeline of that, but you guys just aren't on the same page. And that's the issue.
And
like
he's
that,
not like, he doesn't even care that he's not kissing you all day, like at all. That means you guys probably aren't having sex either. He doesn't care. I think you're just there because you're just somebody there that he can be quarantined with. It's more like you guys are roommates.
Yeah. And that's hard to grapple with, because I think you both see your relationships really differently. And that's just hard. You just get out.
Yep. I think like it's gotten to the point where like, again, we're living in this weird, unprecedented time. And like, that might be putting kind of external pressure in your mind to like try and make it work, because you may not want to like go through the logistics of like breaking up when you live with someone, which is, you know, moving out, finding a place, like, you know, if they own like most of the furniture, like, and what I would say is like, I feel like it sounds like it's gotten to the point where it's even more of a hassle to kind of do that stuff right now, or like start over, in COVID, like, I actually think it sounds like you'd be happier.
Well, you can't control if you're going to break up or not. You can control if you're the one breaking up with him or not. Like, which is a harsh thing to say, but like, I don't think it's a matter of like, oh, I don't want to break up because like I'm like, I think it's going to happen regardless. But one, you're going to be blindsided and have to get your shit together. And the other, you can prepare for.
Yeah.
So, but best of luck. And if it doesn't work out with the dude and the gym girl, maybe y'all should link up.
There you go.
I think there's
quarantine.
A big age gap there.
Oh, probably. I forget he's 18.
Yeah. And she just graduated from college. So I don't think she wants...
That's my issue always, is because I didn't graduate from college. So I don't know what age you graduate from college. I left college
22.
when I was like 19. So I'm like, you're the same age? I'm like, oh, I did not graduate. Like, I can't believe people can legally drink in college. Like, that's so weird to me.
I mean, we drink later than like the rest of the world.
That is true. University.
Uni.
I love it. That is it. What? Did you have a great time?
I did. It flew by.
Flew fucking by. Well, thank you, babe, for joining us for our Valentine's Day spectacular.
This was a nice highlight of the day.
Don't you like thinking about other people's problems?
Yeah.
It is pretty fucking
especially
nice.
right now.
Mm-hmm. It's a good time. That's, I think, half the reason why we love this so much. If you want to call in for an upcoming episode, you can leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. International listeners, you can follow you can send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. My brain was like already thinking of the next thing I was going to say, which was please follow us on our individual socials as well as the podcast Instagram account. And for the voicemail, leave it under 3 minutes, 18 or over to call or get your parents' permission. And
cool accents preferred.
We are also available ad-free on Stitcher Premium. So if you were like, let me not listen to ads, which is what ad-free means, you can listen to us there. Also, if you want to leave a review on the podcast app, we appreciate it. We are also on Patreon for $1 a month. You can see the video versions. So you can see Matz's luscious locks. You can see Melissa and I's faces when we like react to shit, like just the gasps. Follow our Patreon. You can also support the channel and our podcast. $5 a month. We do live streams. We literally just Zoom like you would. I don't have any college friends, but I feel like it's what you would like Zoom with your college friends, right?
I've never Zoomed with my college friends.
But if you were to.
Yeah. We
Don't
haven't
you feel
done.
like-
Yeah, we surprisingly haven't done a big group. That should probably organize it.
You should do a sorority one.
We did,
every
we did that
like
a lot
half
at
of
the
them.
beginning. We did that a lot at the beginning of all this.
Yeah. If you want to buy my presets, check them out. meganranks.co/presets and buy my book. And yeah, also if you've been a caller from another episode, we would love to have updates. So
Yes,
don't forget
please.
to call us with updates, leave a voicemail. You can either email us and schedule or leave a voicemail and tell us and all of that stuff. We're very easy to get in communication with, but don't forget, we do not give advice via DM or written emails.
Correct.
We'll see you all next time. Goodbye. Wear a mask. Don't kill anybody. Don't Blame Me is a production by me, executive produced by Melissa DeMonts, edited by Katrina Henning, and music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
Listening to a podcast should be time well spent, and I promise it will be if you'll give this podcast a try. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in every episode, I talk with leading experts on topics I know you will find fascinating. From why people can't keep secrets, what your favorite music says about you, why your pet acts in strange ways, and so much more. Something You Should Know is designed to give you information you can use in your life and give you great intel that you can share with others. I'm told it's a binge-worthy podcast. And with over 1,000 episodes, there's a lot to binge on. Something You Should Know has been ranked in the top of the Apple Podcast charts consistently for a long time. I know you're going to like this. I just need to get you to try it. Something You Should Know. It's available wherever you listen to podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.